Good morning from Europe. It's May 27th, Wednesday, and we'll leave with you with the short market update. As every day, we're going to check together the latest financial, geopolitical, and political news, and we see what's happening in the market, in financial market, geopolitics, and what moves the market and what moves our money. Still, the markets are hoping on a better uh, outcome from the negotiations that the United States and Islamic Republic based on Iran they have, and they are waiting for some positive news. At least, as mentioned before, they are hoping at least that this uh, somehow we can say ceasefire or whatever we call it that can continues at least by end of World Cup 2020 six and which is going on which will be happen soon in United States. So that's why the market now mostly focusing on the inflation numbers, the numbers that coming from the economic data, from the economic calendar, and also the news from AI and AI related companies. Talking about the AI related companies, I have to say that in past 24 hours, sorry, in past 24 hours, we had two companies that they could join the $1 billion club. One from South Korea, Sky Hynix, if I don't mistake, and one from United States, Micro something. And both they are working on AI related chip makings and stuff like that. And that shows again that how still the AI and AI related companies they are on the top of the at the top of the news, and still everyone they're looking what they are doing and what's happening in this area. Anyhow, market is, or as mentioned, also still positive about the geopolitical tension. I have to say today the Chinese, yesterday Asif Munir, the Pakistani's prime minister, if I don't mistake, he was in China, and after that he talked with the Chinese. Which is interesting. The Chinese official mentioned earlier today in Asia that whatever happened, whatever comes out from the Iranian and American negotiations, that should be confirmed by United Nations, just like the Council of the United Nations, the Security Council of the United Nations. Then the main reason that why that happened and why the Chinese are talking about that right now is mostly because what I think is that Chinese, they believe that many, actually, not just Chinese, many in a market, they believe that these talks are American using that to somehow to buy the time and finish the World Cup. And then after the World Cup, it's just like in next 2 months, because whatever is happening here is all just bringing the period that we're gonna have the World Cup. And this 60 days time is ending like few days after the World Cup ends. That sounds like many believes that the American they just want to buy to finish the World Cup and prepare the situation for the October surprise. And that's why the Chinese they want to just like if they can bring the result of this negotiations to the United Nations Secure Council, and then they can confirm something, and then that's going to be so hard for American to restart the war if they involve the Security Council of the United Nations. That's why I think the Chinese, to avoid this situation, they are asking somehow. They're asking they give they got I mean they're coming with this idea to bring this the result of negotiation to Security Council of United Nations. Anyhow, that just like involving again one more time the Chinese in this process shows that how important right now this situation is for these talks are for world economy. Anyhow, it's about the geopolitical tension and about the market. I have to say that the markets are still positive. Last night, even though we could see that Dow Jones closed 0.2% lower, but at the same time, S&P 500 and Nasdaq both they gained. Nasdaq by 1.2% and S&P 500 by 0.6%. This is while the small cap gained by interesting by small cap gained by 1.8%. Now look at that. That shows that while the Dow Jones is down, increasing the price for the small cap, showing that the how investors are looking at the market and how they choose where to invest. That's very important to, I mean, that's very important point to talk about that. Anyhow, after last night, just like things that happened last night, still in the future market, we can see the positive reaction. The Dow Jones now is up by 0.2%, while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq both gaining by about 0.1%, and small cap again up by 0.3%. That's fantastic for them. In Asia market, we can see the Nikkei is gaining by 0.5%, same almost in Australia. But the Kospi, with the positive news that they got again from the Samsung and the Sky Hynix that they just joined to the $1 billion club, we can see the Kospi is gaining by 3.3%. Super amazing. That's super amazing. Nifty in India also is up by 0.2%, but stock markets in China and Hong Kong, both they are down by more than 1% losing. Same in Indonesia. And so Indonesia market is closed actually because of this Islamic Eid, something they call it. This is the situation there. And looking to understand what's happening in a market, we can check the bond and commodity market. Looking at the bond market, we can see that the US 10 years bond yields is down compared with the recent days by almost 0.4%. Now 10 years yields, you can see that at 4.47%. Yes, it's down, but just like to 4.47%, but still it's up. It's like high number, 4.47%. It's not something that we can say, okay, there is a low number. No, it shows that the markets are still so risky and it's still hot, while the 30 years bond yields is more than 5%. And yeah, the situation is showing that the risky market and the markets is so risky still, and we should still be careful about what's happening there. Same things that we can understand from the commodity market. The gold is still trading between 4,500 and 4,600 in recent years. No change. Silver between around $77, slightly high or down. This is while the WTI, West Texas Intermediate oils, trading between $91 and $92 since Monday. Almost the same situation in the Brent oil, trading between $95 and $96. That situation telling us that how markets are just kind of the cautious about what they want to decide and about the negotiations that is happening between American and Islamic Republic based in Iran. So we should be also be careful about that. We can understand as the cautious market, especially in the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin trading at $75,600 around this, and Ethereum is trading around $2,074. That shows that how markets are risky about the current and ongoing situation. So, looking at this situation can tell us that we should be still careful about what is happening in the market and be more cautious about our trades and our decisions. After our yesterday update, we had Spanish Producer Price Index PPI increasing by 8.3% in April. That's telling us how this producer price index is gaining if this ongoing geopolitical tensions continue further in Asia. And you can see that 8.3% gain in the PPR is not something that producer can solve it among themselves and not pass it to the consumers. So we should be really careful about that situation there. Then we didn't have such important number in Europe. UK CBI distributor traders also fell to just like it gained down on minus 46, but a little bit better than minus 68 that we had in months before. Anyhow, in the United States, yesterday we had the house price index and the increasing of the house price index by 1.7%, same as previous month in March, telling us that still the prices are cautiously and still that houses are still not too much affordable to buy. While in the CB consumer confidence, showed the slightly gain up to 93.8, 93.1, lower than 93.8 that we had in the previous month. Actually, that was also in primer data, it was 91.9. In revision, it's increased slightly higher to 93.8, but still better than expected, and tells us that the market is still positive. Consumers are positive. That's why today's again, we can expect a good number from today's Red Book retail says that we're expecting to see around 7.5 and 8%. Previous week it was 8.1%. Week before that was 9.2% at that week before. Telling us that the market is so positive, consumer market. In other market, US 3 months bond auction yesterday showed the slightly lower yields from 3.60 to 3.59, not too much, but the longer term, like 6 months and 2 years, they saw significant growth, 6.3% increase to 3.61%, sorry, increase to 3.65% for 6 months bill action. In a note for 2 years, the yields increased from 3.81% to 4.07%. That tells us much. That tells us that the market are still so cautious in looking at this situation as a risky situation. So far today in New Zealand, central bank had a monetary policy meeting and interest rate decision, and they held the rates at 2.25% as market expected. But the votes it was very interesting. The three members they voted for holding the current rate, and three members they voted for hike the rate. And finally, with the final vote of the RBA government to hold the current rate, the decision came to this side. But that shows that this situation in the market and this agreement that we have between the members can increase the risk. And that's why yesterday I told that there is still a chance to see the rate hike. Anyhow, in Europe, we had the car registration data from French, Germany, Italy, and United Kingdom, and all of them, they showed negative car registration numbers. That tells us that how Europeans are cautious about the retail sales, about the spending their money, and it's like they are not too much sure that if they can gain again the money if they spend it. US 30 years mortgage rates for MBA today will be out, and we're expecting to see again the rates around 6.50%. Last week it was 6.56%. And that's why probably we can see the slightly better and positive mortgage applications today. Red Book retail sales, as mentioned earlier, can be between 7.5 and 8%. Previous week it was 8.1% annually. We're expecting a slightly good number there. Anyhow, that's the most important numbers that we're gonna have today. But by the way, API weekly report didn't publish yesterday due to Monday holiday. That's gonna be later today, the evening by the US time. And tomorrow we're gonna have the AIA weekly report as well instead of Wednesday. You can have it on Thursday. That's the situation that we had in the market about the stock, crypto, and all markets I talked. With these numbers that we are waiting, I do expect still stock market to be cautiously positive, while we can see a slightly pressure on the US dollar and oil price. That's what the market expecting with the slightly positive look that they have to ongoing negotiations between Americans and Iranians. That's what's happened and what we're expecting to see. Hope it was useful for you. Talk to you again tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.